All right, today we're diving into a fascinating ancient text with a really radical idea at its heart. It's called the Classic of Filiality, and it basically lays out a blueprint for a perfect society all built on just one single powerful virtue.
I mean, just think about that for a second. What if there was a master key to a harmonious world? One single virtue that, if everyone just practiced it, could create perfect social order. It sounds almost like science fiction, right? But that is the exact premise of this classic text.
And the text answer to that big question? It's surprisingly simple. That one virtue is shao, or filiality. The whole idea is that everything, we're talking all morality, all education, all social harmony, it all grows from this single root. It's the absolute foundation for an entire civilization.
So this entire text is actually set up as a conversation, a dialogue between the one and only Confucius and his student Zhengzi. And it's Confucius who lays out this grand theory, starting with what he calls the root of all virtue.
So what exactly is this thing, filiality? Well, at its core, it's the virtue of deep respect, obedience, and care for your parents and your elders. But, as you're about to see, this idea goes way, way beyond just having good family manners. It's really a complete worldview.
And this is where the scale of the whole concept just explodes. Confucius presents filiality as the surpassing virtue that the wise old kings used to govern everyone. So this wasn't just some private family matter. No. It was seen as the primary tool for shaping society itself.
So, where does a world-ordering virtue like this even begin? Not in some grand palace or emperor's court. Nope. The text makes it crystal clear that this massive ripple effect starts in the one place we all know, the home. It starts with our most personal relationships.
The very first step is actually profoundly personal. The text says that your body, even your skin and your hair, is a gift from your parents. So your first and most basic duty is to protect it from harm. In this way of thinking, self-care isn't selfish at all. It's an act of respect for where you came from.
And this path of filiality, it's a lifelong journey. It's not a one-and-done kind of thing. It starts with serving your parents, then it expands outward to serving your ruler, and it finally culminates in establishing yourself in the world, which then brings honor back to your family. You see, it's a complete cycle.
Okay, now we get to see how this idea really builds on itself. The text makes what is probably its most radical connection right here, linking the family unit directly to the structure of the entire state.
The core argument is just brilliant. It says that all those feelings you cultivate inside the family, love, reverence, submission, they're basically your training ground for public life. They aren't meant to just stay at home. They're meant to be transferred and applied to the whole world.
And here's the direct one-to-one mapping. The reverence you learn to show your father becomes the exact same loyalty you owe to your ruler. The deference you show to an older brother, that becomes the obedience you owe to a superior at work. The family, in essence, is a perfect little model of the state.
I mean, this quote from the text just says it all, doesn't it? The very same feeling of respect you have for your father is what you're supposed to use to serve the ruler. It's not a different virtue, it's the exact same virtue, just in a new context. This was an absolutely revolutionary political idea for its time.
And you might be thinking, okay, that's a nice theory for the scholars and the elites. But nope, the text is super careful to lay out how every single person at every level of society has a specific role to play in this grand system of respect.
So, the ruler, the son of heaven, his job is to practice filiality by setting a moral example for everyone else. Then you have the scholar official, who shows it through loyalty to their superiors, which keeps everything stable. And the commoner's role? To support their parents through hard work and by being frugal. See? Everyone has a part to play.
But here's the kicker. The text also comes with a pretty stark warning. This isn't just a nice-to-have social structure. It's presented as a cosmic necessity. If anyone, from the emperor all the way down to the farmer, fails in their filial duty, the consequence isn't just a personal failing. It's societal disaster.
So, after digging into this ancient blueprint for a perfectly harmonious society, we're left with a pretty big question, right? What does any of this mean for us, here and now? Let's chew on some of the modern challenges.
One of the most obvious questions that probably pops into your head is this. Could these principles possibly coexist with a democracy? I mean, can a system that's built on unquestioning loyalty to a ruler really function in a world that's built on the consent of the people?
And that really leaves us with a final crucial question. In a culture like ours, a world that really values critical thinking and, frankly, challenging authority, is there still a place for virtues like reverence and loyalty? The classic of filiality obviously doesn't have a modern answer for us, but it sure does offer a powerful framework for thinking about where we draw those lines today.